Hi, y'all. It's Barbara from Divine Creative Love. And today I'm testing some of the most popular pens for Bible journaling to see which ones actually work and which ones just aren't worth it. I've got 6 different options, including a few of my longtime favorites and some new ones that I picked up from Amazon. We'll see how each one performs so you can choose the pens that will work best for you. So let's dive in. So first, I'd like to share this passage from Deuteronomy chapter 11, verses 18 through 20 with you. Fix these words of mine in your hearts and minds. Tie them as symbols on your hands and bind them on your foreheads. Teach them to your children, talking about them when you sit at home and when you walk along the road, when you lie down and when you get up. Write them on the doorframes of your houses and on your gates, so that your days and the days of your children may be many in the land the Lord swore to give your ancestors, as many as the days that the heavens are above the earth. So I wrote God's Word is Life at the top with the favorite winner of these Bible pens. And this just underscores how important it is to study God's Word. And of course, Bible pens are a great tool for that. So these are some of my longtime favorites. So these are Pigma Micron pens. And they come in different tip sizes and black as well as all the colors. And you can see this is one of the black finer tip pens. It's a really nice fine tip. It writes really smoothly. And then the colors that I have are a little bit thicker of a tip size. So you can see that it's still pretty fine tip. And those are just really good Bible pens. I've had those for quite a few years. And I also really like to use the Tombow Twin Tones for some things. They come in gorgeous colors. These are 2 different sets. There's a rainbow set and a bright set. And there's also a pastel set that I don't have. So there's tons of colors. And these, they have 2 different tip sizes. So each one comes with a fine tip end and a marker end. So that's, 2 in 1, which is great. And then I've got one more type of Bible pens that are one of my longtime favorites that I use a lot. And that is the Jelly Roll gel pens, which comes in the lovely metallics and also many other great options. Like there's a Stardust glitter option, and you can see how it's a nice fine gel pen tip. And they come in, of course, lots of pretty colors. And I just love those because of how smooth the ink is. But you'll see those and the new ones that I got here in a minute when we test them. And the new pens that I just recently got, they are the Mr. Pen. The black ones are called the fine liner pens that are a smaller tip size. And then the colored ones are called the multi-liners that are a little bit thicker tip size. So you can see they look very, very similar to the Pigma Micron pens that I already had. The only difference is that the Mr. Pen pens only come in 1 tip size for the color. The black ones do come in a lot of different tip sizes, but the colored ones you can only find in 1 tip size, versus the Pigma Micron pens come in lots of different tip sizes for colors and the black ones. And the next new one that I got was these Mr. Pen ballpoint pens. They come in lots of good colors. So they're just a ballpoint pen tip, just like the click to get the pen to come out. And then it's just a lot, pretty much similar to any other ballpoint pen. And then I also got one other ballpoint pen set. So these Believe pens, I got the pastel colors set. It comes in a few different options. And again, those are like the Mr. Pen ballpoint pens. They're just the click type. And you'll see later why this is important, the difference between the ballpoint pens and those kind of felt tip pens like the Pigment Micron pens. They just each perform very differently in the Bible. So you'll see that here in a minute. So I've got a whole test that I did in the back of this NIV Study Bible. Of all the Bibles that I have, this is the one that has the most blank pages in the back. So I did the test in this one, and it's very, very thin paper. So it's a very good comparison to typical journaling Bibles, which also have very, very thin, like wafer thin paper. You know, some Bibles have a little bit thicker paper, but this one's got very thin paper. So I did the test with the different tip sizes in the black Pigment Microns, and then the colors with their thicker tip, although you can get them in different tip sizes. And then just below that, I did the Mr. Pen multi-liners and fine liners, which are very similar to Pigment Micron pens. And you can already see there the colors are a little bit brighter with the Mr. Pen pens. And then the next one down below that is the Believe Bible pens, the pastel sets. And then top right is the Tombow Twin Tones, which comes in a ton of different colors and the two dual tip sizes. And then below that, we've got the Mr. Pen ballpoint pens. And then below that, these the Jelly Roll pens. I did the metallic and the stardust, which are such pretty colors, not just the colors, but you can't really see it on camera, but the texture, or the shininess and glitteriness. So right off the bat, you can see the colors. The Mr. Pens are really nice, but the Tombow Twin Tones pens win for the brightest, prettiest colors. But unfortunately, when I flip the page, you're going to see the Tombow Twin Tone pens are the ones that came dangerously close to bleeding through the paper. In some spots, they kind of really did bleed through. All of the pens show on the other side of the page, but the Tombow Twin Tones are the only ones that really kind of bled. And then the other thing that I immediately noticed is that the two ballpoint pens, the Mr. Pen Fine Point and the Believe pastel pens, they left an impression, like a kind of three-dimensional impression that you can feel on the back side of the page. I had never used ballpoint pens in my Bible before, but this really surprised me that I did not like the fact that it left that impression, and you can actually see on the page behind it that it left an impression there too. So I was not very impressed with the use of any kind of ballpoint pens in the Bible. I would not have chosen those, for any kind of Bible study pens if I had realized that ballpoint pens would do that on fine paper. So not a fan of those. So my best pick so far is the Mr. Pen multi-liners and fine liners, not the Mr. Pen fine point pens or the Believe Bible pens. Those are down at the bottom of the list at this point. And then the next thing that I did was I got out my illustrating Bible because it's very different paper and it's thicker, and I wanted to see how the pens are going to perform in that type of Bible that has a lot thicker paper. And again, you can see here how much prettier the Mr. Pen multi and fine liners are compared to the Pigment Microns. The colors are just a lot brighter and prettier. And again, the Believe Bible pens and the Mr. Pen fine point pens were just not my favorites. The Tombow Twin Tones are still just super bright and colorful, but yeah, those two ballpoint pens I did not like. Love the Jelly Roll as always, but you'll see on the back side the two different ballpoint pens did the same thing in the illustrating Bible. They left a little kind of indentation. And the heart that I drew with the Tombow Twin Tone pens, again, bled through a little bit. I was surprised it still bleeds through in some places, even with the thicker paper of the illustrating Bible. So that's worth noting. Even though they have gorgeous colors, they are much more prone to bleed through. And again, with those ballpoint pens, I did not like how they left that indentation on the back side of the page. They also didn't write very smoothly as the other ones that did. Now, the next thing I did is I wanted to test each pen type to see if they would run what if I colored over them with watercolor. So I sped up this part of the video to make it a few minutes less. And I just colored over each of the hearts with the metallic watercolors just to see if I could get the ink to run. And I was very surprised. They actually all performed very well. Granted, I drew those hearts the day before I filmed this video, so they did have some time to dry. The Tombow twin tone pens were the ones that I really expected to run, but they actually didn't do too bad after being dry for a day. Coloring over or around pen drawings is something that I do fairly frequently in my Bible journaling, so this is very important and really good results that these pens all didn't run when I colored over them with the watercolor, which was really awesome. I expected at least one of them to bleed just terribly. So overall, I'm really thrilled with the results. We got some really good pen options here. Got gorgeous colors. Again, I was so impressed that none of them ran when I watercolored over them. Of course, the Tombow twin tones bleed through, but you already knew that. And now that we're done with all the testing, it's just a matter of picking the winner and deciding, which ones are the runners-up, which ones have the best qualities for Bible journaling pens. But I'm going to start with the two bottom-of-the-barrel pens, those Mr. Pen ballpoint pens and the Believe ballpoint pens that I did not like because they left that impression on the backside of the page, and they don't write very smoothly either. And the ink flow is inconsistent in both pens, so I really did not like either of those. Don't recommend them. They left that just really unsightly 3D impression on the back of the page that I don't think that's necessary. There's other much better types of pens than the ballpoint pens. So again, don't recommend those. And speaking of better pens, my pick for the best of all these pens is the Mr. Pen multi-liners and fine liners. They're just really great, basic, all-around pens that would be great for Bible journaling. They come in prettier colors than the Pigma Micron pens. I really like how brighter the colors are in comparison. And they write very smoothly and consistently, so that's a big plus. You don't want to have pens that are going to be skipping and clogging and, not writing consistently. So these are really great. And they're also actually cheaper than the Pigma Micron pens. So that's also a plus, in addition to the fact that their colors are brighter, which, of course, I like brighter colors. But if you like the more muted colors of the Pigma Micron pens, you might still consider those as an option. So unlike the Mr. Pen pens that the colors only come in one tip size, you can get the Pigma Micron pens in multiple tip sizes, even in the colors. Like I've got some of the black different tip sizes in the Pigma Micron pens. So like there's a 0.25 millimeter size and a 0.35 millimeter size and a 0.45 millimeter size. So you can see how it comes in all the different tip sizes, and I was trying to be fancy and open them all three at once and ended up writing on my hand in the process. So the Pigma Microns would be a good option if you want like more tip sizes, even in the colors. And beyond those Mr. Pen and the Pigma Micron pens, my next favorite pick is going to be the Jelly Rolls. They just have such juicy, consistent ink flow, and they come in so many gorgeous colors. Like there's the metallics. I've also got the Stardust glitter ones, but they also come in lots of other options. There's like some pastel ones that you can write on black paper and lots of other options. There's just tons of beautiful options with the Jelly Rolls. And coming in at last place, I only left it in the running just because the Tombow twin tone pens come in so many pretty colors, and the dual tip sizes makes it very handy if you want that kind of option to have a marker tip and a fine tip. And you can't beat the rainbow of colors that they come in, but with the catch that they are prone to bleed through. So again, in both the Illustrating Bible and my study Bible with the thinner paper, they came dangerously close to bleeding through in some places. So I only recommend them with that catch. But overall, the top winner is the Mr. Pen multi-liners and fine liners. Those are my absolute number one recommendation. If you only have one type of Bible journaling pens, get those because they're really affordable and they're just great. They write really smoothly and they come in the bright, pretty colors. And if you just want to get a second set of pens to go along with those, I recommend getting the Jelly Rolls because they have such unique finishes like the metallic that adds a little extra something to your note-taking. And thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you won't miss any of my future videos. And we'll see you next time. Bye!